Gentlemen, welcome back to MGTOW Money. Today's topic, how to win at the game of life. Thanks to the ongoing support from the Patreon supporters of this channel. Men, it's because of you and your support that this channel continues. See the video description today. Become a supporter of this channel. Also, see the video description today. I'm going to include a link to a podcast and to a book. It's by a professional poker player, Annie Duke. I especially enjoyed the podcast as well. The book ties in with today's topic. All right, on today's topic, how to win at the game of life. Men, you ever played poker? No, I don't play poker on a regular basis, but I have played numerous times. And one of the things you're doing in poker is having to consistently make decisions. Lots of decisions on each hand. Do you fold? Do you not fold? Do you bet? Do you raise your bet? Do you check? Etc. The game of chess is the same thing. There's an extraordinary number of moves that you can make when you get into the early to middle game. You don't know which way to go, and it's extremely easy to become overwhelmed, especially when you're trying to determine, okay, what's the best decision here? It's the same thing in life, men, especially when you're getting into adulthood. And I know that many of you are young men. Many of you, most of you, I'm betting, are under 30 years old. No problem. And when you're getting into adulthood, and I'm defining adulthood as you're not living with your parents, you're living 100% on your own, you're getting zero support from the bank of mom and dad, you are going to be overwhelmed many times with, okay, which direction do I go here? Let me speak from my own personal experience. I've got a PhD in poor decision making. I made so many extraordinarily bad decisions in my late teens and early 20s. It's extraordinary that I'm even still alive right now. This doesn't have to be you. You can have a great life, and you can set up yourself for even a better life far into the future right now by learning some basic ideas on making good quality, impactful decisions. Decisions that'll have minor downside if you're wrong, but huge upside if you're right. Now, before I get into those ideas, a quick word from our sponsor. Men, if you haven't already, go right now to the video description, open an account with Webull. Yes, I've mentioned Webull before. They're a stock trading app. And oh, by the way, of course, the stock market just hit a new high again just a couple of days ago. You can open an account with them, fund it with $100 that you can immediately take out. They give you a free share of stock. Free. It costs you nothing. Many of you have already done so. You can do this, men. You can start getting money for free into your pocket by doing small things on a regular and consistent basis. Again, see the video description today. Join Webull right now. And oh, by the way, if you haven't, for those who have opened an account, you might want to start looking at ETFs that I've mentioned in the past, specifically regarding gold mining, etc. Go back and listen to my videos on that. All right, back on topic. 3 principles that you're going to start doing right now today to make better decisions. 1, you're going to start saying no 80% of the time. Just the word no. It's very simple. You're going to say no to marriage, no to kids, no to debts, no to pets. Pretty simple, huh? How about no to get rich schemes? Men, if somebody's trying to sell you something on the basis of fancy cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, etc., pictures of boats, yachts, beautiful women, etc., if they're trying to convince you to buy something on that basis, you know who's getting rich? They are, not you. It's extremely unlikely. It is like a lightning bolt hitting that anybody makes any money on those types of things. What I'm trying to say is, men, minimize your commitments, especially at a young age. See some of my prior videos where I've talked about men that I personally know in their 40s, in their 50s, who decided to go the other direction. They chose to say yes to a lot of these things. And you know what? They're leading, let's just say, very unhappy lives right now. I won't go any further than that. In other words, men, you only want to move forward with a positive decision, a yes decision, when it's hell yeah. Your instinctual response, in other words, immediately top of mind is, hell yeah, you're moving forward. Most professional poker players, you know what they do on the initial deal? In other words, the first round of cards that go out? They fold. Most of the time, they fold. They say no because they're waiting for a better opportunity. Finishing this point, as I told a friend recently, you got a small decision, a large decision. If in doubt, stay out. Don't do it. 2, move beyond your first order thinking. Simple question. What are the consequences here? What is the downside if you're wrong? What's the worst that can happen? In other words, before you make a positive decision, before you decide to move forward, challenge your beliefs. Challenge yourself. You don't have to talk to anybody. Just ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? In other words, if you're not at least an 8 or a 9 in terms of making a decision to move forward, you know what you should do? Don't do it. Those decisions inevitably, in other words, you'll always have another chance to make another decision about that. There are very few, and I mentioned this before, quote, once in a lifetime opportunities. There's always a new one typically coming down the road. 3, best for last. I'm taking this from Nassim Taleb. I'm going to quote him on this, direct quote. On how to make a decision. If you have more than one reason to do something, choose a doctor or a veterinarian, hire a gardener or an employee, marry a person, go on a trip, just don't do it. It doesn't mean that one reason is better than 2, just that by invoking more than one reason, you are trying to convince yourself to do something. Obvious decisions that are robust to error require no more than a single reason. You can't be any more specific than that, men. In other words, don't attempt to rationalize your decision. If you've got a clear, simple decision, which are probably good ones, you don't need to overthink it. You can just move forward. These are typically no-brainers. In other words, you just need one reason, immediately comes to mind, and you move forward and you're doing it. And you know what? It's probably going to work out okay, especially if you've considered the 2 earlier points that I mentioned. Let me quickly summarize, men. You can make better, more effective, life-impacting decisions today, right now, by starting the 3 ideas that I'm mentioning. 1, saying no most of the time, especially when it comes to big, life-changing commitments. I'll let you decide what are life-changing commitments. I've done this numerous times, but you know what I'm talking about. 2, you're going to start thinking beyond the first order. You're going to think about the downside. You're going to think about the worst case scenario. What if this goes wrong? Because lots of things do go wrong, believe you me. 3, stop looking for reasons and additional excuses and looking for friends to tell you, yeah, it's a good idea, whatever. Start looking for one single reason to just do something that immediately comes to mind and move forward with your life. Gentlemen, as always, hit the like button if you found this profitable. John Galt, out.